Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to FreeCell Quest. Let's continue. So I've slept since the last recording, so now we can hopefully do some more of these FreeCell games with a little less hassle, I suppose. I think part of the problem is just immediately looking at this background, it's a little distracting. FreeCell, the Windows FreeCell game, by necessity, almost certainly had just a green solid color background, but also the simplicity in that is kind of undeniable. Like, that is the right way that one should go with something like this. Having a blue textured background that is so prominent is not contrasting enough with the cards, and the cards themselves are simplistic. Like, they by their history are simplistic, so of course they being simplistic and dull aren't going to pop out alongside a way more detailed background. So you have effectively the positive space, artistically speaking, is the background, and the negative space is the cards, which it would be subtle, certainly, for a lot of people. They probably wouldn't just immediately recognize that that's what's happening to them mentally, but it's what's happening here is like, it's just a poor artistic choice, a really poor artistic choice. Same way that these animations that are playing backwards now it's interesting to see this, I guess, now, but you can't even watch the game as it played out, and you don't see the animations still as they should be depicted. And by that I mean there's still a Dilladan has been attacked. Interesting. So I had just moved in there and we had a random encounter. That's weird, and I guess that's where we can start to expect this is going to start going down. And this is not a particularly easy challenge we've got here. So let's see, what would be the easiest thing to scramble? Let's go ahead and scramble this. Yeah, that didn't really change much, did it? So we only have like one space. Let's see what Magic Aura does. It just shows us the low cards, which that doesn't really help us either. Alright, let's see if we can just work our way through here. I'll scramble this. Scramble this pack. Requires... If that scrambles around, then that solves the problem. Those two, and then we can see what else we can do. I guess we can do this, and that gets rid of that, and then I guess we could maybe do this. That gets rid of that much, and then that gets rid of that much, and then that gets rid of that much. Alright, we've got it now. There, we're getting hit, so we might as well heal. You might as well use the mana. It seems like the mana refreshes after each game. If not, then I have no idea when the mana refreshes, and it probably doesn't matter. But so maybe you can just walk around forever and constantly play the game as it is, and that's one way that you could play this like a regular FreeCell game. But yeah, you're really having to dance around a lot of stuff that if your intention is you just wanted to play FreeCell, this is not giving you that. Which I think any game with FreeCell in the name should have just by default a FreeCell mode. It doesn't make any sense to me that that wouldn't exist. So we're leveling up and we're getting the XP. We might be able to do it now. And if we can find a monastery, that would be helpful too. Alright, cards. I'm thinking I might have enough. No, I am exactly 1 extra card short, or 2 extra cards short. I guess 2 extra cards short. But once we create a FreeCell, then we've probably made it significantly easier on ourselves. And I could, if I could get to a monastery, then I think we're suited pretty well to learn at least 1 new spell, which obviously we have room for a lot of spells to be learned. That won't fit there. That'll fit there. Need to get to a 3 though. So if I do this, that, then that. Alright, and then put that up there. Then those squeeze down to be removed. And let's put a king here. Do that, and we may be done. Yep. These, as long as I can pay attention, these are easy enough to accomplish games. So we trade that. Now we can create a FreeCell. Your power's growing. You've created another FreeCell. So now the game should be way easier. Now the question is it worth the effort to sail over here or over here, or just ignore that for a while? Alright, so now we have 2 FreeCells, which makes this so much easier. They're gonna have to throw some challenges at me now, because this just is gonna work. Maybe the fact that you unlock new FreeCells was too hard for them to program, and that's why you don't get the animation the way it should be depicted. Because it should be able to do that a lot more. And if I'm gonna unlock more than 4 FreeCells, all the way up to 6, which I think is what they said we could do, like we are gonna start getting down to a level of instantaneous victories. 1 defense, 35 gold sale value. But how do you sell anything? That's the question. So we need to find a marketplace. Pulls a card nearer towards the top of a stack. Cancels all incoming attacks. Teleports you back to the last end you rested in. Moves a random card to a goal sale. Interesting. It's by heroism. Can't afford it. Yep, but we can buy impulse. Seems like we are always going to have just slightly less money than we ever really would like to have. Right, so pulls the card to the top of the near the stack, so that pulls the ace forward, which inevitably if I put that there and that there and then that there, I can fix that problem and then stop myself from being attacked, and then put that there. And let's see, just stick that up there because that's easy enough to do. But do that and then do that and do that. Move that, move that. Yeah, until the game starts throwing a lot more challenge at me. So this is a great example. Like, I moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. How did I move 5 cards with 2 free cells? I could have moved 2, maybe 3 this way, then 2 that way, but it didn't animate any of that. So, I mean, let's just set this back to the way it was. So 3 can go there, 1, 2, and then the 10, which would be doing this, doing this, doing this, doing this, doing this. Then you can take this here, put that there, put that there. Have to move for a second, and then move the rest of those the same way. And that's what FreeCell, the Microsoft FreeCell, does to show you how you're actually playing the games and how you're actually following the rules. This isn't doing any of that. It's just assuming that you understand in every single instance what's going on. And in all likelihood, that's not going to be the case. There's going to be a lot of people that, at least at some points, are going to just want to drag the things around, you know? It's not that hard to just move things into different places and see what happens, without really having the logic or comprehension behind it. And that can be a problem with a lot of games, is do you want to make something that is a dumb clicker game where you can win the game no matter what, and you don't even have to prove that you know what you're doing? Or do you want a game to actually be a test of skill that is actually challenging you to be intelligent on your moves and your planning? Let's see. And so far it feels like we're gonna get potentially at least half of the lands completed without any challenge at all. And yeah, since you don't really know where the next area's level is going to be, am mostly just moving around randomly. Like, there's no way to put any strategy in, oh, should I go left or should I go right, because I don't know if left is the more dangerous area or right is the more dangerous area. This would have been a great point for them to add some dialogue and flesh out the characters and say, oh, to the east is the super powerful warlike city of this name or country of this name, where to the north is the peaceful pushover country that barely has any fight in it at all. Or there's some other ways they could have had some of these areas not just be fights, that they could have us play FreeCell games as a way of gambling, commerce, trade, conversations. You get into the potential problem of this being a world where all your problems are solved by playing FreeCell, but that would still be better, I think, to have story and have a world like that than to have this game just imply that every single FreeCell battle is you attacking a city, being this. I mean, I don't know how you don't just describe yourself as an evil conqueror running around trying to unite the lands. This being called FreeCell Quest, and then you not being given any kind of quest by anybody, hurts the characterization quite a bit. It would be helpful if you had a vision telling you you must unite the lands, an evil is coming, or you must unite the lands for this religion or this country, or you have a king that tells you to go out and unite the lands and finally bring peace to the world. Anything, even just like one screen of dialogue at the beginning, would have been super helpful, and it's totally missing. Meanwhile, we are basically doing nothing here. It is rather repetitive. FreeCell has never struck me as a game that I wanted to be quick and easy. So this is odd. It's very odd that you just can do this so fast. And I really don't see a reason why you'd want to play again a second time. I don't even really have to look at the challenge on this. We're at level 11 and we're fighting things that are challenge 9. So getting the extra experience was the right move. It's put me ahead of the power curve. And unlike most games that eventually have some compensation so you can't be ahead of the power curve and just overpower the game, this one seems like you totally can do that, and I totally have. So kind of looking at easy victories potentially for the rest of the game, with, I imagine, a very small selection of special areas that might be a little bit more difficult. Let's see. Let's see. Pulse sends a card. I can't grab that. I can do this. But yeah, I guess that's what I needed to do. And we've got this hugely tall stack here, which we couldn't move in one move. So there is some programming in this, in particular, that's not programmed as well as FreeCell as the Windows FreeCell. Also, yeah, I can only assume that it is slightly more difficult to program FreeCell than it is to get that open source software to make the low effort solitaire games that flood Steam. Those games in particular, it's really, you just have to have a red 7 for a red 8, or a black 7 for a red 8, or a red 9 or a black 9. Sometimes it's alternating colors. I think it's usually alternating colors. It's been a while since I played one of them. But what that effectively means is there's a lot less programming and checking that you have to do to see if a move is valid, because it's not really checking for any big long chains of movement. It's just, is the card directly on being placed on top of the next card valid or not? And so I assume that open source programming language or software to develop those solitaire games just handles that stuff better, and that wouldn't be able to handle FreeCell as easily. That's really a pathetic excuse, though. It should be rather easy to program FreeCell if you know what you're doing. I'm not sure anybody would bother to do this. I occasionally keep an eye on student projects from game programmers, and I've never seen a game programmer make a project that was FreeCell as any kind of project that you would show off. I'm sure maybe first year, as your second or third week project, you might make a FreeCell game, or maybe even halfway through the semester you might make a FreeCell game in the first year. But by the time you're a fourth year video game programmer, you're not making FreeCell for sure. You're not making card games. Those games don't sell in the mobile markets. They don't sell in the definitely in the console markets. You're never going to make a AAA game around FreeCell. At best case scenario, you maybe learn some good programming standards to make a card game like Gwent. That's about the closest as far as a successful card game that isn't a collectible card game. Now, if you throw in collectible card games like Magic the Gathering Arena or Hearthstone, that's completely different type of programming, way more complicated, because every card does something different and has to have its own rules and interactions defined with every other card. But even as like a hacking minigame or a lockpicking minigame, we haven't ever seen anybody play FreeCell as an option. There's some small indie games where it might have made some sense. Shenzhen.io, I suppose, has Solitaire built into it. And then they sold the Solitaire game separately for people that didn't want to play the overly complicated programming language game Shenzhen.io. But yeah, that was just Klondike Solitaire. That wasn't FreeCell. Sometimes things are just done until somebody can revolutionize it. And to revolutionize it, you have to do something amazingly new or different, and it usually doesn't succeed. This, I will say, was at least an attempt at revolutionizing FreeCell. I didn't see this coming, for sure. I didn't see the idea of having a RPG elements added to FreeCell as something that would have been a smart idea. Let's see. What happens if we shuffle a card like that? Well, I guess that stops it from attacking me. So, I played right there. Actually, I was going for the scramble. That was what I wanted to do. Just wanted to scramble that whole deck. Of course, now that I've moved some things, that this may have moved things around so I can't actually succeed. I honestly may not even have a move here, so this may be just I need to scramble again. Inevitably, this is the thing, though, isn't it? That it doesn't matter, even if you can't win, as long as you have enough mana to take the hits when it attacks you and heal or play scramble again. You're just on this cooldown where it would just shuffle a stack of cards, and so all I've got to do is just shuffle this a couple times and see if we can do something. See, pulls a card near the top of the stack. Alright, so now I just pull this ace here, and because I was able to do that, now I've effectively won. Let's see. There we go. And that was a hard level because it had 4 stacks instead of 6 or 8. If it got down to even 2 stacks, I think we could potentially win with the spells. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the very last one we do is just one long stack and you just have to use spells over and over again to work with that. So you don't refill your mana, so then the question I guess becomes, where do you refill the mana from? How does that get increased? That there, move that there, do that, do that, do that, and that, that, and there we are. Now it's gonna take a while before I have enough cards, though, to, even if I click this a lot, yeah, it's gonna be a while before I unlock another area, another FreeCell. But it will also be kind of stupidly easy when we do that. Perhaps I have gotten to a point now where a consideration on mana use might be something be concerned about. Like, I might have to go and look at my stack of items and determine whether that stack of items is useful or not. I'm gonna go ahead and undo that, put that there, and do that instead. Okay. Yeah, that was an example of me making a mistake and it just working in my favor due to dumb luck. Put that up there. And that. Okay. These games are going way faster than a normal game should go. So 23G sale there. So here's a super easy one, except for the fact that it's gotten a little bit more complicated because now we have 4 states of cards. Doesn't mean anything, it's still black on red, it's just the fact that we have to deal with 4 decks instead of 2. Now, are we dealing with 4 decks because we went to a specific area that made it more complicated, or are we dealing with 4 decks because the game has just recognized that we are leveled up to a point where it's become particularly ridiculous to only have us play with 2 decks, because that was super easy up until this point. So I guess there is a small amount of savings I want to have, so let's be careful with the mana use. Where are we? It's a good match to play. Something like this. Probably not. Something like this. Probably not. Put this up here and then do that and then do that and do that. And I can do that. The amount of time you have before it attacks seems arbitrary and hard to determine. The blinking doesn't really feel like it gets worse, or in any way tells you, hey, you're about to get attacked, you need to move faster. So yeah, I don't know how you fix that. Let's go ahead. Pull a card up higher. Shuffle this too. Just shuffle that deck. There we go. And then just pull that 2 forward. And then we can start to clean a lot of this out. Like, we've probably got this now. Let's see. One more card. Can we find a place for it? That should be everything. Now, if we have 4 or even 6 decks happen a lot, then with very few areas, that could be a problem, certainly. Like, if we start getting down to 4 stacks of 6 decks, that could be a hassle. Again, there's definitely a problem with this presentation, and I definitely would not spend the money to buy a blank background just so I had a solid colored background. And I'm sure the creators of this game thought this blue background was something really nice, but it really doesn't play. It really doesn't work visually. It's such a negative space distraction. It's making my eyes tired, and then so many cards on the screen that you kind of have to worry about fatigue in a game like this, because traditionally speaking, FreeCell would be a longer game, a game designed for people who have a lot of free time on their hands, a game designed to be played over and over again. Even this is obviously a game designed to be played over and over again. So really can't work our way through. Let's see, I'm gonna do this one. Yep. Is there something I could pull forward that would be helpful? We can right click that. I can pull forward this one. And then do that. But that's about all I can do. Oh, we want to shuffle this. Alright, so I could pull forward this ace, and that would solve some problems. But, man, I also have to heal. And honestly, if I don't level up, I'm now kind of doomed. Let's see. I have a 3 here, a 3 here. And still a lot of problems, because I'm using the magic spells really instead of trying to save the day with regular solutions. I just don't think I have enough mana. Yeah, you need 30 to do that, or you need 12 to do this, so I can pull one more thing forward. But and that lost a bunch of money, and I am way in a different place. Shuffles all the red cards. So the default, these are just card faces, actually. What I really need is a different background, not card faces at all. So actually, what I would like to do, I can't do anyways. I don't know if this place has been re-attacked or what, so we may have to run around and deal with that later. Wait, there was a shop. at this city. So cities have shops. And we can buy cards for a lot of gold. Or we could sell this and then cancel incoming attacks and let's sell, I'd say 6 of them there. We'll sell 1 of these, and I think that's all we would want to do. I don't think we'd ever want to buy anything. And then this is a sanctuary, so where's the monastery? That's a castle. That's a village. That's a city. That's a capital. I swear there was a temple, but apparently I can't learn from that temple. This is level 10, and I think I could probably do that now. Which one was the temple though? Did the temple get destroyed? Like, seriously, where is the next temple? Or maybe I learned all the spells that that temple could teach me. So, I have to click way over here to reach it. Then we could train. And having the ability to flee, I think, is probably useful. Probably also means I can get rid of that. And we bought 2 spells. So looks like maybe you can move things around. Maybe not. Maybe these will just always be in the same spot now. To the last inn you rested at. So we need to find inns and figure out where we can rest. Inventory shop. So villages, 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 villages. Yeah. Well, this is weird to say the least, because it doesn't really seem like there is an inn that you can rest at in the game. It seems to indicate to me this village way back here where you started was the last inn you rested at, which that doesn't really make any sense at all. Well, it looks like you can sell this, and we may finally have hit a point where the game is starting to be a little bit more challenging. We really can't afford, though, even though we're getting a lot of extra XP because we're playing as the ninja, we really can't afford to lose the gold until we've unlocked all the spells and assumedly purchased any equipment or items that we would need otherwise. I did notice that first shop we went to did not offer any new armor or equipment, which means there's almost certainly a shop we have seen and I've just completely overlooked that would have sold me some more equipment, which would probably be beneficial. That being said, I suspect there isn't a lot of equipment in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if you barely find 2 or 3 sets of gloves or chest pieces or anything like that, and that it's not like randomly generating loot or anything along that level. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.